All right, cheers and welcome back to all my good trading friends, those who get up every day and fight that good fight and battle the evil demons of the market just to get their fair share of the pie. That's who I'm talking to today. All right, that was a bit dramatic, but welcome back everyone to Happy Hour with Lincoln. This is episode number 31, I believe. We got some great stuff we're going to talk about though, but before I get into it, I want to remind you for the last time, the last shameless plug that you will hear about this, but the free trials to the live trade room will end on Sunday. So if you've ever been interested in trading with us live and for free, visit thelincolnlist.com. Actually, I'll just put the link up here. If you're interested, go visit that. But Sunday's the last day for that. I'm not sure what's in the glass. I forgot when I poured it already. It's irrelevant. I'm not reviewing whiskey, but I'm going to enjoy this dram here. We got good questions. We're going to talk about trading resources. We're going to talk about trading setups and all this good stuff that I really think is going to help you become better at what you do, focusing on that psychological part of trading. So let's get right into it. The first question that we have today, like you videos, can you tell me what is best resources for stock trader to learn and where? Do you have books or study? Now, I believe what we're getting at here, or what they're trying to ask, is what are trader resources? What is the best way for a trader to get started trading market? You're an aspiring trader, you want to get started, or you've been away for a while, you want to get back into trading. How do you do it? What's the best way to do it? Is there a book? Is there a DVD? Is there anything like that? Well, I would say no to the DVDs and most books, because it's going to be difficult for you to learn a strategy and understand what somebody's talking about in a strategy if you don't know anything about the market in the first place. The very best thing that you can do is observe, is just wake up every day, get in a routine of looking at the market, studying the price action on how charts work. Probably the best thing I could recommend though is if there is a book or there is a DVD, just something standard on chart patterns. If you're wanting to take the approach of a day trader, most people use technical analysis. So just a basic technical analysis candlestick charting book. If I can remember when I edit this, I'll put some information here, some books I think are just basic that'll just teach you how candlesticks work. So you understand what dojis are, what wipeout candles are, pin bars, inverted hammers, ascending wedges. You'll get an idea of patterns, and then you can just study the basic patterns of how stocks operate on multiple time frames. And then the very best thing that you can do, doesn't even matter if you're just trying to learn how to trade or you just want to get better at trading, the very best thing you can do is observe. We're all in this for the screen time. That's what's going to make you successful. The more time that you can spend looking at those charts, being involved in a real-time market environment, that experience, that's what's going to pay you the dividends. Because if you've remembered, so many of our whiteboards that we've talked about, so many of the study that we've talked about has always been the emotional side of trading. And that's what you're really fighting against, not getting stopped out on trades or getting faked out. And you need that screen experience so you can deal with all those nuances, all of those mental emotions and everything else that really go into becoming a successful trader. So what do I think? I think maybe just a basic book on technical analysis, if that's the angle that you want to start trading with, you want to day trade, you want to scalp or something like that. Go with a very basic book so you just understand how basic candlesticks work, and then spend your rest of your time just observing the market and trying to get an understanding for it. That'll pay dividends. You don't need to spend all that money on DVDs and softwares and stuff like that until you really got a grasp of what you're doing and what direction you want to go with your trading. On to the next question. Doug, is there any way a normal person can beat the market? People say it's a game that only the house wins. How do we win, and how can we win? Well, first of all, I don't know what normal people are, because there's always a thing. If you're trading for long enough, you're not normal anyway. Now, that's just a joke, but I had to say it. So I don't know what you actually mean by normal people. I think what you're saying is, can the retail trader, can the Joe out there beat the big banks? Can the Joe or the Jane beat the Wall Street tycoons? Actually, yes, you can. In fact, you have far more flexibility in what you do than any other type of trader. Now, I'll give you an example. Big banks and institutions, hedge funds, those big whales you see on TV all the time. They run funds, and when you have funds or institutions, they have to abide by a set of laws. So in most cases, not all cases, I know it's not every case, you have those high frequency traders besides those, But for a lot of those places, they just can't move in and out of a position. Now, the reason they can't do that is, let's say, for example, they're moving around big money, like 5, 10 million shares of Apple or Netflix at a time. So trying to get that kind of action in or get that order filled and then get that to sell, you just can't. They're just not doing that kind of a trade for a scalp. That's not what they're in. You as a trader, the retail trader right now, in my opinion, has more of an advantage than they ever have, because right now you have all these resources. You have so many brokerages account out there that cater to what it is you're trying to do with great commissions. When I first started trading, man, commissions were like $50 a trade. In and out. You know, when I first started, it was actually closer to 100. So now you're talking about some places just 27 cents to $1. I mean, an amazing change when online trading really came into play. So that's helped people become more in and out, become more nimble with their trades, because now you can trade things in 15 to 20 cent increments and make money. So you have that flexibility that a lot of institutions don't have. On the other side of that, with this explosion of social media, really since about 2006 and 7, you have all of these educational resources. You know, I'm not going to toot my horn about what I have, but there's hundreds, thousands of people like me who have experience, that have been trading for several decades and are willing to share what, you know, maybe not how a strategy works in detail, but what you're not supposed to do. Like if you really want to make money, what you're not supposed to do, how you can not lose money and grenade your account. You have all these educational resources. Like I said, I'll often talk about Trade Ideas, one of the most premier elite scanners out there that really puts a lot of good tools in your hands, puts a lot of good odds in your hands. And to me, right now is the very best time. Internet access is available everywhere. I mean, tons of educational resources, tons of experienced people giving out not just paid advice, but free advice. You've seen tons of our free whiteboards. So I think you've got a lot of great resources out there. And I do think if you study and you work really hard, that yes, you can. I wouldn't say you're not really beating the market, because we're not trading against the market every day unless you're an E-mini trader or somebody like that. We're just trading stocks. That's all we're doing. We're trading that stock on a specific time. So we're not really worried so much about the market and what the market is doing or trading against the market. We're just trying to win on that stock or that trade during that interval that we're trying to win on. Hope that makes kind of sense to some of you. But yeah, this is a great time to get started. Internet's everywhere. It's easy to work on the road. It's easy to get started. Brokerage account minimums have come down. Now's the best time to become a stock trader, and the market's really advantageous to people that are trading. So on to our last question. Our last question, what will it be? Will it be a good one? Will it be a weird one? What is it? All right, last question. What is the setup for day trading at home? What type of software do you use for trading, charting, and research? All right, well, I think I know where you're going with this, and I think I might have already answered that in my long rant on question number 2 about the resources that were available and how you get day trading at home. So that kind of ties into the previous 2 questions that we've had. Resources for traders to get started, and can you beat the market, etc. So when you're looking at this one here, just getting set up, I don't know if the setup means, are you looking for, we'll talk about computer setups, because maybe this person's talking about computer setups. What kind of computer do you need? Honestly, when you get started, you don't need much. You need maybe, heck, there's a lot of traders that trade off of their phone right now. That's not for me. My eyes are going bad in my old age. I need more than just a Samsung to see it. But a lot of traders do that. If you're not constantly looking at a lot of charts, then you could definitely get by with just making sure. Everybody has an app. You can make trades on your phone. A lot of traders I know use just 1 to 2 screens. You're going to have primary charts up there and maybe another one for scanner. I've gone over mine, and if I can remember as I'm re-editing this, I'll put the link of my computer setup. I use a projector and 2 other screens. One of the screens, of course, is dedicated for the trade room. So if I didn't have a trade room, I would just use those 2 screens. That's all. You really don't need that. Now, I know there's a lot of other traders out there. It's always been sort of a thing to match what kind of trading system you have. You've seen those, you know, cornucopia of screens on people's desktops. That's just too confusing in my opinion. I don't think that's going to work for everybody. Again, it kind of goes back to some of the things we've talked about in our past lessons. You have to kind of figure out where you are as a trader. If you're somebody that's new and you're not successful I don't want to say not successful, you're just struggling for success. Extra computer screens is not going to make you successful. That's something that pros add on later on to help give you an edge or make things just a little bit more streamlined. But is it justifiable that you go out and spend $100 or $400 for a monitor when you haven't really made any money trading? The answer is no. So just start basic, a laptop and maybe another screen, just something to where you can start watching the market like we said in the others. Now, if it's just how to get started trading, I kind of answered that in the previous one. It's just get started. Like right now is the best time to get started with trading. Just do it. Just take that first step. Start watching the market. Start studying the market. Follow a few people on Twitter. Get an idea for the lingo and how things work. And then just kind of take it from there. It will happen faster than you think, but just get started. And the same can be said here for the ending part of this when it says charting and other resources. Again, most brokerages will offer you significant amount of quality charting, especially Thinkorswim. I know their commissions are very high, but you can put a very small amount in there and you don't have to trade every day, and they don't charge you if you don't trade. I don't think it's right for day traders. There's other places you can run orders through where you can save money, but their charting is really, really nice. It's aesthetically pleasing, and they have a lot of indicators and a lot of fancy things that you can do with it if you choose to. So Thinkorswim is a great charting platform to look at, and you just put a few $100 in there. As far as there's tons of free ones out there on the internet, just do a search. That's what I said earlier. There's tons of free resources out there for charting. There's tons of resources for scanning. If you're not successful, or consistently successful, I should say, and you haven't really gotten to that pro level, you don't need to spend the money on the scanners. You don't need to spend the money on the extra screens. You don't need to spend the money on all the other nonsense. Just try to keep it simple until you can build some consistency. And once you really got a handle on your business, then you go ahead and invest in those other things. Put some indicators on your chart. Try to get a little bit more fancy to give yourself an edge. Hope that answered the question there. So those were some good questions. You guys got questions? Support at thelincolnlist.com. I appreciate anyone who had the ability to endure however minutes we've been jibber-jabbering. Until the next happy hour, give me your thoughts. Give me your feedback. Give me your questions. Send your weak, your weary, your poor, and your downtrodden, and I shall make you whole. Or I will try. Anyway, that was dramatic too. Until the next happy hour, cheers.